y'all doing? Welcome to my first video of 2021. It's taken me long enough. It's like the 11th when I'm filming this, but hello you guys, welcome back. I took probably like a little bit of over 2 week, 2.5 week break after ending off Vlogmas last year, and it felt amazing. So I just want to say thank you guys so much for your patience. Seriously, everyone has been so patient with me and so kind and supportive of me taking this little post Vlogmas break as I usually do, and I truly am grateful for that, you guys. So today I wanted to come back. I was thinking like, should I do a vlog to start off the new year? Should I do like a sit down video? And I've been thinking we'll definitely keep going with the vlogs. I'm probably gonna start one like tomorrow for you guys, but we did so many vlogs last month, I figured let's just like sit down and catch up. Just like a chatty, casual, oh, nothing I love more. I'm gonna be honest, one of my favorite types of videos is just a chatty, sit down, good old Q&A. So I have a nice, you know, head-sized, it's not filled up completely, you know, but you wanna know a secret? But this wine glass fits an entire bottle of wine. Truly, like if you just kept going, a whole new bottle of wine, it would not even tip over. But we've got a nice, I would say we've got a nice third of a glass poured up tonight. Cheers to 2021, baby. As you can tell, not much has changed. Let's go ahead and get into the Q&A. I'm gonna do like some life updates and just some chats and answer you guys' life, random, juicy, whatever type of questions that you guys sent in. I asked both on Twitter as well as Instagram for questions. Usually, as of the past like 2 years, I've really only taken questions from Instagram, so I wanted to give it over to Twitter a little bit for about like half of the questions from this video. This might be an unpopular opinion, but Twitter is actually my favorite social media. I would rather have a Twitter than an Instagram. So if you happen to not follow me on Twitter or Instagram and you feel like it, I'll put up my accounts right now, my usernames. But let's go ahead and get started with the questions. And also, if you guys can tell, I have a few nails that are missing, and it's probably gonna be showing as I hold up my phone in this video. So just, I know it looks stupid. The first question is from one of my favorite people ever, one of my favorite people on the internet, one of my favorite people in real life, Miss Emily June. Deadass Emily June is like my favorite person to follow on Twitter, so I'm gonna put her username on the screen with the question. She asked, favorite memory at each of your LA apartments? Emily was actually my first roommate. We shared a room in college, so I will go ahead and start there. Our school apartment that we first moved into, where Emily and I actually shared a room, it was kind of like dorm style, but like bigger than dorms because it was an apartment. Favorite memory there, hands down, has to be meeting our friend Drew and just having like our first initial experiences in LA with me, Emily, Julian, who was my other roommate, and Drew. A lot of you guys are probably familiar if you watch the vlogs from that era. Basically just all of us moving to LA for the first time, going to the same college, and every single absurd thing that happened in 2013. So on to the next apartment, which I also lived with Emily as well as Julian, but we lived at a different, bigger, nicer apartment in downtown LA. My favorite memory there was I mean, it's gotta be a tie between either smoking hookah while doing math homework or when we were obsessively watching Chopped and we figured out that one of the winners of Chopped worked at a restaurant that was like 2 blocks from our apartment in downtown LA. So we walked to the restaurant that night, sat down, and we're like, is Chef Lauren here? She wasn't there. Moving on to when I lived with my sister in 2014 to 2015. That was actually probably one of my favorite experiences of life. Like those years are some of my most absurd. I like to refer to it as the Sky Vodka phase, the deranged smoking the bong every single night phase. Like it was dark, but it was also so fun. I have actually no regrets. I hope I don't disappoint with this answer because it's not necessarily a specific memory, but I would say at that time in my life truly was the like biggest, most fun kind of like friend group that I've ever had, and a lot of like new friends and just so many like new people, and that was a really good time for just like growth in my friendships. And then my last LA apartment, when I lived downtown at my loft, when I lived alone, my favorite memory there, I really enjoyed hosting and having parties, and that was kind of when I first got into hosting in my life, and I could really like have a bunch of people over to my own place and like host for everybody. And one of the funniest memories, I've shared this in videos, I've shared this on Twitter before. Probably one of the best memories, which might sound weird when I first say this, but was when I had to have an emergency plumber come to a party that I was hosting because I only had one toilet, one bathroom in the apartment, and there was about 30 people coming over, and his name was Ron, and he came to the party, and he was the best, most kind man. He stuck the thing down in the toilet. Ollie and I made up a rumor that we clogged the toilet with a dildo. It was completely false. We spread a rumor around the entire party. And Ron saved the day. He was so nice. He was so funny. It was just absolutely absurd. I'll insert photos on the screen of this era. And it might sound weird that that's one of my favorite memories, but it was just so funny, so absurd. And I just miss that chaotic energy that was like 2016. So that was a long answer to the question, but you know, we had 4 apartments, 4 specific memories to go through. So shout out to Emily for that iconic question. The next question is from Morgan, and Morgan says, if you had to give any advice on trying not to stress about the future too much and living for the now, what would you say? This is a hard one because I'm definitely someone that worries a lot and overthinks, so that, you know, a lot of times leads into my future. Nothing is guaranteed, no day is guaranteed, and you know, that might sound cheesy or corny, but it's the truth. I feel like there really is no use actually worrying and overthinking and everything about things that aren't currently happening, because it is not what's going on right now. And also, like, you know, what's gonna happen is just gonna happen. Like, things are just gonna happen as they do. We can't necessarily control everything. There's a lot of things out of our control that are just going to happen that aren't great, but that are great too. Overall, I think I just have to say, like, nothing is guaranteed. The only thing really that is guaranteed is like this moment right now. So do the things that make you feel good. I think doing things that like brings you back to the present moment is very important too. Like, even if it's just taking a few deep breaths or taking 5 seconds if you're in a moment where you're really happy and being like, I am grateful for this. I've been trying to do a lot more of that lately, like speak out loud when I'm grateful for somebody or a moment or something. And I think for me, that brings me into like the present moment, and I don't get caught up as much thinking about the next thing or the future. Think about everything that you've already figured out up until now. Like, you've always figured out, you're gonna continue to figure it out. Next question is from Michael, and Michael said, fave song off of Folklore / Evermore. We need to know, Virgo Queen. I like this question because it was just like fun and random, and I definitely have been enjoying this era of Taylor Swift. I do like Evermore, I think, a little bit more than Folklore. It just kind of like hit me in all the right places a teensy bit more, I guess you could say. But on Folklore, definitely my favorite song is Peace. I think for some reason that one just speaks to me the most. And then as for Evermore, you know, this came out a little more recently, so I haven't necessarily narrowed down my top #1 favorite, but I probably have a top like 3 or 4. And that would be Willow, Champagne Problems. I really like No Body, No Crime. Honestly, I like the whole album though, so those are just like some initial picks, but I like it all. All right, moving on to some questions from Instagram. This one's from Maddie. Welcome back. Favorite / least favorite thing about this break? So, you know, my favorite thing about my break and my time off since Vlogmas ending, from Christmas until like January 5th, I like didn't open my planner. I wasn't like planning my days, and it was really nice because that's something that I'm such a planner. I write down a to-do list every single day, and it was really nice to actually, like, especially right after Vlogmas this year, for some reason it just hit different. I was like, oh my god, I don't have to edit for the next like week or 2 weeks or something. Like, it's crazy. I don't really think there's like a least favorite thing of the past, you know, break, a couple weeks. I would say the only thing is just like getting into my own head about like, oh my gosh, you're not being productive, like you're not filling your days with enough, like you're sleeping in late and you're going to bed late. But it's like, bitch, that's the purpose of a break, you know what I mean? That's the whole point of taking time off for yourself. Okay, of course we got a question from Ollie. Ollie never disappoints. I honestly think almost every Q&A I've done for the past like year or 2 that Ollie has had a feature in most of them. So he says, most insane memory we've had together. Probably has to be a tie between, of course, the story that I've told on YouTube at least once, maybe twice, of when Ollie and I went to meet up with, Ollie came with me to meet up with a boy I briefly met on Tinder at a show he was playing. It ended up being this like sketchy like house party with a basement where everybody appeared to, I don't have confirmation, everybody appeared to be shooting up something in the basement. Never got to see the man perform. Ollie and I were like, we've got to go. I'll insert a photo on the screen now of us in the bathroom being like, where are we? And then we left and went to Burger King, went back to my apartment. Either that or whenever Ollie flew with me first class when I was on tour with Macy's in like 2015, and he came to one of my meetups that was like in New Jersey, but pretty close to New York. It was probably like 30-45 minutes out of New York. And right after the meetup, we were like violently starving. We went to the Cheesecake Factory with one of my like kind of YouTube friends, like YouTube contacts, almost like a business contact. And for some reason, you know, the drinks hit different. We were pretty hungry after the long meetup, and Ollie and I ended up reaching almost blackout level at a Cheesecake Factory at the mall in New Jersey at, you know, 2 p.m. That was one of our first deranged moments together, and I'll never forget it. Nicole says, best and worst purchase of 2020. I like this one. It like made me think about it. I think that I had a lot of great purchases, of course, but I tell everybody my best purchase from 2020 was probably my Dyson vacuum, my Dyson cordless vacuum. It definitely was pricey and something that I wanted for a really long time and just put off buying, because it's like, who the fuck wants to spend $300 or $400 on a vacuum? It's a very expensive vacuum, but I think that overall it was probably one of my best purchases. It's made my life a lot better. Investing in high quality stuff that you're gonna use all the time, I do think that a lot of times it is worth it to spend more for something that you're gonna use like every single day, and that's going to improve your life. My least favorite purchase of 2020, I haven't really thought about it. Let's think. So I probably have a better answer to this that I just can't really think of off the top of my head right now, but I would say worst purchase of 2020 is overall anything that feels like it's like wasted money, but it's not really wasted money, but feels like it's wasted money, such as health insurance, paying for my car insurance, paying off my car loan, anything that's like an annoying purchase to make, like money towards rent. I know that's like a stupid thing to say, but it's like anything that you don't actually see anything coming out of the money you spent. It's not necessarily a worse purchase, it's more of an annoying purchase that is part of being an adult. So I'd probably say anything having to do with bills, even though that's like probably a really basic, boring answer. Alexa says, how do you handle your body naturally changing as it does in life? I thought this was like a relatable question, you know? I feel like a lot, raise your hand if you can relate to gaining weight during quarantine. Bing, 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 bing. Everybody I've talked to, most people I've talked to, of course there were some people that like probably got in better shape from quarantine. Shout out to you. But how do you handle your body naturally changing, such as during a pandemic, during a quarantine? Oh, I think that it's a process. I don't think that it's necessarily easy. I think for me, something that is good for me, this might not be good for everybody, but something that's good for me is I choose actively every single day to not own a scale, and I try not to weigh myself. I do know that I gained 15 pounds because one time I did weigh myself at like close to the end of 2020, and it didn't feel good, and that reminded me like that's why I don't own a scale. I am that person that if I see a scale, I will get on the scale every time I see it. It's not a healthy thing for me. I think some people maybe can deal with having a scale better. Other than that, I think accepting, it's very hard, it's easier said than done, but like kind of accepting where you are as this is just me right now. This isn't like permanent, you know, no body or no weight is necessarily permanent. So your body changing, even, you know, you didn't really say weight like in this question, like of course, you know, your body can change as you're aging, and that happens to literally everybody, and you can't prevent that. I mean, I've got some nice forehead wrinkles that I've had going for years, and I think just we have to accept that like this happens to everybody. Nobody maintains like this perfect, beautiful weight body their entire life. Like everybody goes from here to there to here to there. Like everybody has glow ups and everybody has whatever the opposite of a glow up is. It's so normal, and it's hard not to base your like happiness and your worth a lot of times on how you're feeling about your outer physical appearance. For me, it's not something that's easy. I definitely like have a lot of times where I look in the mirror and I'm like, it's hard for me to like be nice to myself. I think I try to just like wear what makes me feel good, do what makes me feel good. If I'm not feeling great, I'm like, okay, it's time to like up my health and fitness game. Like I want to do that for myself. Oh, one other thing I have to say, this is some other tea that I have for you guys. You notice the things with your body more than any other person ever would. Like you'll notice, for example, I was listening to like a podcast or something the other day, and they were like, you know, when people say like, people put on something and they're like, oh, that just isn't my color. Like I could never wear that. When people say that, I'm like, what? Like I wear every color, like, and I've never been like, I can't wear this color, I can't wear this color. Like wear what you fucking want. I'm telling you guys, never in my entire life have I looked at somebody and been like, that color doesn't look good on them. Never in my whole life. Of course, maybe we have thoughts like, oh, that's not my style. Like I wouldn't wear like that particular piece or that particular outfit. You know, I'm not gonna say that out loud, but like I've literally never been like, ooh, that color like doesn't look right on their skin tone. Seriously, like you are your worst critic at the end of the day, and people are not judging you as much as you think they are. Like keep that in mind. We notice the littlest things about ourselves, like if an eyebrow hair is out of place, oh my god, I need to pluck this eyebrow hair. Like the littlest fucking things. Other people, I swear to you guys, like they're not noticing those little things. So you are your worst critic 100%, so take it easy on yourself. Hallie says, how iconic will your speech at Megan's wedding be? Thank God someone asked. Bitch, it's gonna be next level. I mean, truly, someone better record it because it's gonna be one to go down in the books. I'm so fucking excited for Megan's wedding. This is truly what sisters live for, people, okay? These are the moments. McKenna says, do you miss anything from your older YouTube days? If that makes sense, LOL. Yeah, I think it makes sense. I have been on this platform for almost 11 years, as I know a lot of you guys know. So the older YouTube days, probably the biggest overall thing that I miss. And I think a lot of people who have been on YouTube for either as a watcher, like as a viewer, or as a creator for a decade or more, something like that, there of course has been a change in like the rise of social media and everything. And YouTube used to be a little bit different in the sense that there just wasn't so much pressure. There also wasn't as much, YouTube was not as saturated. So there wasn't this pressure to like be so different and be so perfect and have these, you know, and I think that it's easy to really feel that pressure as a creator. And I think that was one of the most pure things about 2009, 2010, 2011, you know, YouTube days is really, there was no pressure to make these like professional videos. And it was honestly before the time that most people, it was really the beginning, or even before the time that people were making full careers out of this. It was kind of when people were just starting to get advertisers and sponsors and everything. And it was almost just this pure time of like, everyone that started YouTube was genuinely, for the most part, was genuinely starting just out of like the pureness of their heart, the right reasons. You can hope that your favorite creators have started for that reason, but you never really know, right? I mean, I think that everybody knows now that you can make a career out of YouTube if you are successful enough, and if you do, you know, make it. So I think that there's that pure aspect of it from 10 years ago where people weren't really making millions of dollars from YouTube and having all these like crazy sponsors and huge followings on social media. And it was more just like this hobby, pure, special thing that it is still. I do still feel so much of that, specifically with my channel and my audience, and things evolve with time, and I still absolutely love this platform. But I am a very nostalgic person, and it, you know, when I do look back on those days, I'm like, oh my god, it was just so pure that I literally sat in my closet and I would make videos every night in my closet and edit them and upload them the same night. Like, something about that will just forever be in my heart, as like that pure dedication, right? Like, ugh, I've been talking about this one for a while, so we'll move on. Mackenzie says, tips on entering a new relationship while still being independent. I love this question because I definitely feel this. I feel like I really thrive being an independent bitch, and it's so important to me to have my alone time and my recharge time. I think that you really can maintain that in a relationship with the right person who hopefully understands your need for alone time, your need to go off and do your own thing, whatever that looks like for you. I think it's important to just be upfront from the beginning and be like, hey, I just want you to know that like my independence is very important to me, and it's something that I'm going to continue to focus on, you know, regardless of things with us. I mean, you don't have to like say this on like the first, you know, couple dates or anything, but if you both kind of know that it's going further, and also trying to make the other person know, because I've been with people before that definitely like they don't like being alone. It's kind of either you are like an independent, I need my alone recharge time, or you're one of those people that is genuinely like, I don't really like being alone. I would prefer to be like always have a roommate, always have someone there, always, you know, and like not have much alone time. It's hard if you're with someone, if you're over here and you're with someone that's over here. And expressing also like that doesn't mean that I don't want to spend a ton of time with you. I want to spend a lot of time with you, but also in order to be present in our time together, I have to have that time to get my stuff done so I can focus on time with you and not be like, ugh. Like I know that I'm the person that I literally do want to be with my person all the time, but I know deep down that we have to have that time apart to miss each other and to get our shit done so that when we do come together, it is more special and I'm not have a million things on my mind that's preventing me from being present with my person. I think it's hard in a new relationship, but make sure that you are giving yourself that time, if you need it, of course, to recharge, to come back to your person and your relationship as the best version of you. All right, we just have 2 more questions. This one's from, I think, Allie. Her username is AllieLove3. And it seems whenever I do a Q&A, I get tons of questions about moving, and I got so many this time. So this one is, are you re-signing your lease or moving someplace new, Boise or question mark? So I did re-sign my lease in August, and I was actually able to do a month-to-month lease, which was really exciting for me because that was when I was really in a place of like, I don't really know where I want to stay here for now, but I don't know if I want to stay here for another year. So I have a month-to-month lease right now. Ever since summertime, I haven't even really had a single thought about moving, at least in the next year or 2. And I go back and forth a lot. Like literally a year ago, I was completely positive that come August of last year, whenever my lease was up, that I was gonna move to Atlanta. And you know, that plan changed. I think I've talked about this before, but if you haven't caught up on like recent videos or podcasts or whatever, I basically was just able to actually find what I felt like I was missing here for a while, which was a solid group of friends. And I found that last year, and that alone completely changed my idea of wanting to move away, because I've always loved it here. I think Boise is such a cool city. It's so beautiful. I just didn't for a while have that friend group and have those people. And now I have that. I also have a serious relationship here. I think for me, you know, this is something that I go back and forth with a lot because I'm not one to like settle down. So it's extremely difficult for me to ever envision like saying I'm gonna live in this one place forever, because I honestly think that's kind of boring. Like I don't really ever want to be like, even if I buy a house somewhere, I don't really ever want to say I'm probably gonna live here for the rest of my life. I don't know, some people want that. I don't really think I want that. So I think that for me, I'm very, very happy with where I'm at now, and I think I would be surprised if in the next year I moved. I think I do see myself here for at least another year, maybe a few more years, and I do hope to at least live in 1 to 2 other places in my adult life. If I did move, like I would still be in Boise, but I would probably just move to another house. Like that's definitely in the cards for this year. I definitely might move, but I would stay in the Boise area. I'll definitely keep you guys updated if that changes, but I always get so many questions about moving, so that's what I wanted to, you know, just update y'all on. All right, we're ending the video off on a corny note. If you made it till the end, I got a lot of questions about my boyfriend. I got a lot of questions about how did we meet. I am gonna try to get him to tell me the story, or tell with me, tell the story with me to you guys of how we met in a video kind of soon, because I've gotten a lot of questions about that from the beginning. However, I think it would be cuter if we told the story together. The question is from Brooke, and she said, favorite qualities about your new boo? My first favorite quality about Jared is that my friends knew him before I ever met him. Some of my friends have known him for years, and they always vouch for him since literally I mentioned his name. Like, I met this guy, like, Lindsey, he is amazing. He's such a good person. He's the nicest person. And that shit goes a long way with me. Like, to have your friends like know your person, like back up your person, that's kind of the ideal situation, because I never had any doubts. I never had any questions, because some of my closest friends were able to vouch for the person that he is. He is just a genuine, kind, caring person. And bitch, that's my type. Like, straight up, I don't know if anyone can relate to this. My type is a sweet, genuine man. I love nothing more than a sweet man. The nicer you are, the better. Like, that's literally my type, which I'm like, Lindsey, that's healthy. Like, we love that for you. If you're not gonna treat me like a queen, don't fucking talk to me. Another favorite quality about Jared is he literally lets me be the psychotic, fucking deranged, huge personality that I am. And he never once has been like, you're too much. And he lets me be my full self, which your person should do. He's never judged me, and he's always made me feel completely safe to talk to him about anything. And I'll leave it off here. He genuinely makes me want to be a better person, because he is somebody that I admire so very much. And that is some of my favorite qualities about Jared. Other than that, he's 6'3", and he's really good at expressing his emotions and being vulnerable with me, which is also an extreme turn on for me. I love a sweet, vulnerable, in touch with their emotions man. What a long video. If you like long ass videos like this was, and like all of my videos are, give this video a thumbs up, and I'll be back very soon with a vlog for you guys, more videos for you guys, and I just love you. Thank you so much for watching. This was really fun. I fucking miss you guys, and I'll see you so soon in another video. Bye guys.